Good morning. Welcome to our daily devotion for Monday, the 5th of October. I've been thinking about Jesus feeding the 5,000, and I thought I'd just read a few verses about it to you from John. When Jesus looked up and saw a great crowd coming towards him, he said to Philip, "Where shall we buy bread for these people to eat?" He asked this only to test him, for he already had in mind what he was going to do. Philip answered him, "It would take more than half a year's wages to buy enough bread for each one to have a bite." Another of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, spoke up and said, "Here is a boy with 5 small barley loaves and 2 small fish, but how far will they go among so many?" Jesus said, "Have the people sit down." There was plenty of grass in that place, and they sat down. About 5,000 men were there. Then Jesus took the loaves, gave thanks, and distributed to those who were seated as much as they wanted. He did the same with the fish. When they all had had enough to eat, he said to his disciples, "Gather the pieces that are left over, let nothing be wasted." Well, Nigel and I have been married for 31 years. And when we were getting married, we wanted a lot of people to come to the wedding. All of the South Yorkshire Crusade Choir that we were in at that time, but also a lot of other friends and family. And we didn't have a great deal of money. So we decided that we'd have a faith reception. And we put on our notice sheet, "Will you bring something sweet or something savoury?" And we said the same to the family. And we could not believe how much food was brought. It fed everybody who came to the wedding. There was food left over that they gave to the children's Christmas party that was on that evening. And Nigel and I went to visit some friends on the Wednesday evening before we flew on our honeymoon on the Thursday. And they said, "Oh, we'd like a cup of tea." "Yes, thank you, we would." "And would you like some of these cakes? These are what are left still from when you got married last Saturday." And it just reminded me that God, in his wisdom, can make a lot when you think that you may only have a little. And I've been thinking also about, when so many people have been struggling during the pandemic, and lots of people have gone out of their way, they've put themselves at risk to take people food and food parcels. And I think that even those people who weren't Christian, something has touched them in their hearts that has made them want to go out and help others. And so I know there's been a lot of negative things during the pandemic, but there's been a lot of real positive stuff too. And people have had food who would not have had it if this hadn't have happened. So I think that, when we read that story of Jesus feeding the 5,000 and the miracle that happened, there's also been small miracles all over during this pandemic. And I think that it's worth remembering that. And I thought I'd share a poem with you that I have written about it. Imagine the conversation between a boy and his mother after the feeding of the 5,000. "Have you brought the loaves and fishes that I sent you for today?" "No, Mum, I'm really sorry. But you see, along the way, I met a man called Andrew who needed them, you see, to feed a lot of people, and he needed them for free." "Rubbish," said his mother. "That little bit of food can hardly feed this family, never mind a great big crowd." It did, I tell you. I promise you it's true. For there was this man called Jesus, and he knew just what to do. He gave thanks to his Father and asked if it be his will. Then he gave it to the people, and they all ate their fill. Everyone ate heartily. It was a sight to see, just from the loaves and fishes that they'd asked for from me. I really felt so proud, Mum, and Jesus was so kind, and I helped pick up the pieces that the people left behind. There were 12 baskets over, so I brought us some in me hat. It's all in little pieces, but none the worse for that. So really, Mum, I know that you'd have liked fish for your tea, but now we've lots of bread and we've helped some people see the miracle that Jesus performed upon that day. They'll always remember and not forget to pray. All right, said his mother, I'm sure you did your best, and there is quite a lot of bread here, so I'll sort out the rest. So let us all remember, as we gather here today, the feeding of that multitude and the miracle that day. And as we thank our Father for his daily bread, we never will go hungry, just as Jesus said. Well, I hope none of you have gone hungry during this pandemic. And I'm sure that if anyone is struggling, if you ring the council or anywhere, there will be someone who can help you. So I just want you to remember that, and remember that story of Jesus feeding the 5,000. And may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine on you and give you his peace. And I'll see you next week. Bye.